just want to know, how are you guys doing tonight? Are you guys doing good? Everybody feeling good? That's good to know. At least we're all doing good by the grace of God, you know. And let's hop into these reviews. The first one I'm going to review tonight is King of the Cage Aftershock, which was in 2005. And I bought this from the mall, FYE, which closed, and I was so glad that I bought this one because it brought back so many memories I'll never forget. One of them was when Joe Stevenson went against Joe Camacho 3 rounds for the King of the Cage title, and I'll never forget that one. That was a huge matchup, and I really thought for a minute that Joe Camacho had the guy. But at the end of the day, Joe Stevenson uppercutted him, and he couldn't do nothing. And that was one match I'll never forget. And the second favorite match I have is when Charles Bennett, the wrestler, took on Shad Smith 3 rounds in a row for the King of the Cage belt. And those two gentlemen, they put on one heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen. And if it wasn't for those two, there wouldn't be no King of the Cage. And I'll never forget that match either. And the third and final match was my favorite was when Dan the Beast Severn went against Jerry Brandonovich 3 final rounds for the King of the Cage in the King of Cage tournament. And Dan the Beast Severn fought to the end, and I thought the other guy was going to win, Jerry Brandonovich, but he got knocked out in the 3rd round, and I was like, man, he tried, he fought his heart out, but at the end of the day, Dan the Beast Severn, the King of the Cage veteran, pulled through and got him, and I'll never forget those matches. So what I would encourage all of you to do, if you're a big fan of the King of the Cage, please check this out. You'll never forget this. It'll be cool. Just enjoy it. That's it for this one. The second one I'm going to review tonight is TNA Sacrifice 2009. And I bought this one from the mall too. And they was in Orlando, Florida at the time, and they put on one heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen. And Jimmy Borash was the announcer for that night, and I have 3 favorite matches on here. One of them is the 6-man tag match, the beginning. You had Eric Young, Lethal Consequences versus Sheik Abdul-Bashir in the Motor City Machine Guns, and I was pulling for the Motor City Machine Guns and Sheik Abdul-Bashir. I really thought that those guys was going to win, but at the end of the day, Eric Young and his partners pulled through and got those guys, and I was like, man, I thought they had it. But it goes to show you can't win every match because somebody's going to pin you. And that's one match I will never forget. And the second match I have on here is when Kevin Nash took on Samoa Joe. And these two gentlemen gave it their all, ladies and gentlemen, especially Kevin Nash. He fought his heart out. He had so many matches in TNA and WWE and WCW before he retired, and I will never forget his matches, and this is one of them right here. But Samoa Joe, at the end of the day, locked in his submission on him, and he tapped out, and he had blood on his forehead. But I had to clap for both of them because I really thought Kevin Nash was going to win, but he lost at the end of the day, but he still tried. And I'll never forget that match. And the third last match I have on here was when Awesome Kong went against Angelina Love for the TNA Knockouts Women's title. And Awesome Kong was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and she's retired now, but she had so many matches in TNA, and I'll never forget those matches, and this is one of them right here. And these two women, they fought their heart out, especially Awesome Kong. I really thought that she was going to win the women's title from Angelina Love, but Awesome Kong had her, and I thought she was going to pin her. But at the end of the day, when Awesome Kong had her back turned, Angelina Love snuck up behind her and pinned her. And I was shocked. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, she pinned that big woman on her stomach? And that just blew me away. I had to clap my hands for her. She even celebrated that on that evening. And I'll never forget sitting in front of the TV watching these two women fight for the women's title. And I gotta give it up to Awesome Kong. Even though she's retired, I will be her biggest fan. That's it for that. But what I would encourage all of you guys to do, if you're a huge fan of Awesome Kong and the rest of the women on TNA, or even Samoa Joe or Kevin Nash, please check the TNA DVDs out at the mall or TNA.com. That's it for that one. And the last and final item I'm going to review tonight is called Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe for PlayStation 3, which is an awesome game, by the way, created by Ed Boon. He was a great genius. And the reason I like this game is because he brought so much energy to it. The characters, the graphics, the fighting, the karate behind it. And if you go to story mode, you can hear the Mortal Kombat characters talk while you're playing the game, which was so cool. And I bought this one from GameStop when it first came out, and they're not carrying PlayStation 3 games anymore, and I was so glad that I bought the last one. And I've been playing it ever since. So what I would encourage you guys to do is, if you're a huge Mortal Kombat fan, or you like the movie or the video game, please check the Mortal Kombat games out. You'll really like it. And even if you have some good characters that you like, please let me know. That is it for this one, and thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen, and please stay tuned for next week to see what I'll be reviewing. And please, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do, please have an awesome weekend, and please continue to stay close to God, please. And whatever you do, whenever you see trouble come your way, or somebody's being evil and not right, please pray to God and ask Him to take all of that away, because He's the only reason that we're still here. I'm still here. And have a good rest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good weekend.